Carlos, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right. So tonight we have the pleasure of having you on. We're going to go over some things that you dabble in a little bit. This for everyone who doesn't know what you should know. This is Carlos, aka Charlie 5.5 on Instagram. He has a Facebook group with about 15,000 people in it. It's pretty wild. It's quite large, and it focuses on mainly 5.5. That's your thing, right? Right, Carlos. You're a 5.5 guy.
5.5 is what got me back into collecting. Yeah,
All right.
5.5.
Okay. All right. So, if you want to, I already introduced you, but I guess if you have something you want to say, man, you could throw it out there. Anything you're interested in talking about
Yeah,
before we get into it.
thanks for having me on. I saw your interview with Dan. That was really good. Really good
Appreciate
question.
it.
Dan's a great storyteller. So, uh,
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm following up on Dan. So this is kind of a Kobayashi Maru here. That's an impossible task here. But
Yeah.
let's talk some toys and hope for the best here, huh?
Nah, you're
Uh,
fine, man. You can never well, you already know this, but and you and I and I'll disclose it. You and I have known each other for several years. So
yeah.
it's not like I just met Carlos and it's like and he's on here. So I've known him for a long time. You don't have to worry about following up. Dan is he's in a whole other like
Oh
thing,
yeah.
man. Dan's his own thing. Uh you're a special guy.
Oh,
So
thank you.
well, I didn't mean it like you. I meant like what you do. So
Oh, thanks. I
I'm joking,
appreciate that.
brother. I'm joking, man. Yeah. So let's just get right into it. I mean, you do some customs. You
Yeah.
do we have a little something special we're going to show some folks here in a little bit.
Hmm.
Some so they want to stick along, or stick around and stay along for that. But let me jump into your Instagram real quick because I have it here and I'll pull it up. But just tell me, what is your Instagram focus? Like, what do you post mainly? Is it customs? And I know most of this, but for the audience, what do you
Hmm.
focus on when you post? You know,
Yeah, well, the Charlie 5.5, it's letting people know what the form factor is going to be. You're not going to see a lot of legends. You're not going to see 3 3/4. It's basically 5.5. I I've always loved toys, There's been
mhm,
periods when I'm not buying toys, but I've always been interested in toys. And then when I was looking for something to collect, I tried to look up the old Remco Hercules because I wanted to rebuy that figure from my childhood. And in the search, the Zola World Hercules came up. I don't know if you're familiar with that figure.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, this guy came up in the search when I was searching for this guy. So
And you
I was
got him
looking for
too.
this, and
Yeah,
then this came up, and I looked at it, and I was like, I don't remember that figure from my childhood. So I started looking, and it was a completely new company because for many years the 5.5 factor was pretty much dark times. It was,
right.
after Mattel closed shop, it was just
Mhm,
customizers really. It's Code
yeah,
2, Master English, and a bunch of other customizers if you wanted anything new. So it was surprising to me. I came in at the perfect time because that's when new companies started
right.
uh, taking interest in the form factor. There was Zola World who was already rolling, doing the Remco style. Then uh, Funko got into it with the Savage World and the
Mhm,
Primal Age, and then Super 7 came into the 5.5 factor. So I decided right there, I said, well, instead of going vintage, I'm just going to collect 5.5, everything that's new in 5.5. So that's
right.
what
So
my
that
Instagram is
kinda
about.
so when you came across that figure because I have the Hercules figure complete. I don't have him in package like that, obviously. I don't have that,
Mhm.
which is very nice, but I do have that figure. That's kinda like an iconic, that 5.5 stance, just that old school. It's almost that Remco feeling, just that old, not old. I don't want to say old. It's just I don't know. There's a feeling about that figure if you have it. If you
Mhm.
hold it and you look at it, and that's something that the Zolo World stuff brought to the table.
Yeah.
The way the joints were, they're not like the Motu stuff with the bands on the legs. It's
Mhm.
a completely different setup.
yeah.
And some of the figures later in Motu were different, but what I'm talking about, the original Motu stuff was on bands where that stuff's like on like a almost like a not a ball
It's a
joint. What
ball
would
joint. Yeah,
it's like
ball
is it a
joint.
ball joint? Is that
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, it comes off, so we'll say ball joint. Okay. I was thinking a little ring, not a full ball, but whatever. It works.
Mhm.
So when you found that, it led you to obviously now when you said Funko, or you mean like so the stuff they were doing like with the Thundercats, like the 5.5
Yeah,
inch
yeah.
stuff like that, the Batman, and they got into the whole DC,
Yeah,
like
they did. They started with one figure, which was the Son of Zorn. They did that, and
yeah, and he
I don't
came
know.
with the shirt. Yeah, I saw the dress shirt.
Yeah,
I
with
still
the
have those with the
dresser.
the drink, the gauntlet, yeah, all that
Yeah.
stuff, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna blow you up here real quick because in the background behind you, uh, you have the castle in the background from
Oh
Funko
yeah, yeah.
over your left shoulder there.
That's probably the best thing they did. If anybody who collects 5.5 doesn't have that, they should hunt that down. It's the same scale as Castle Grayskull. And it's a fantastic playset.
And they were like $25 at one point, $30, if that.
Amazon, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Towards
they
the
were
end,
pumping them
they
out
were trying
like
to get rid of them because they're
yeah,
space hogs in their warehouse
yeah, it was
anyways.
super cheap.
Yeah, I think they
So
were early. I think,
it
well, they
was.
had the QHT issues, but I think they were early in the 5.5 game.
Yeah, they
If,
were,
if they
for
had
sure.
waited a bit, I think they would have gone much better.
So I'm looking at your Instagram, and I'm gonna pull that up for everybody here in a second, but I see you're just over 3,500 followers. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thanks.
Uh, so when you're doing all this and your posts, now you got some fabulous posts, by the way.
Oh,
How do
thanks.
you interact? 3,500 people. I mean, how do you interact with these? Are you able to interact with everyone? Are you able to get to everybody's messages or comments? How do you
Yeah,
handle it?
time permitting, I try to if someone took the time to leave a comment, at least to react. I'll read them all and react to them. I can't, with time, I can't answer everything, but if I see a question or something, I always try to engage with somebody, even beyond just the interacting on my own page. It's more. I also try to interact and
Mhm.
scroll through my feed and see what the other people that I'm following are posting because that's what's fun for me too, more than
Okay.
just trying to grow my own
So if
page.
you're doing that and you're trying to just be organic and grow by just posting what you enjoy, not
Hmm.
so much what everybody else wants, but what you follow, what you like,
Oh
and how
yeah, yeah,
that's flowing. Let me ask this: when you post, do you have like a time or a day, like I want to post at this time, or certain people are watching? Is there a certain time or window that you post in? For
that's
people who are trying
that's
to get into Instagram, maybe somebody needs to know.
yeah, there's all sorts of studies and recommendations on that. From my observation, I'm not too mindful of that, but from my observation, to catch the West Coast crew, I try to post sometime midday during the week. On the
Mhm.
weekends, with a few exceptions, they do well, but on the weekends, I see things are slower to, get
Absolutely.
on that old algorithm wave. But during the week, middays, what's worked best for me.
I didn't even I didn't even get into it in the beginning, like, my YouTube channel, what it's centered around. I told you I wanted to make sure I brought that up, but
Hmm.
just real quick to segue off of post times and when to post things.
Hmm.
I'm also on Instagram as well. It's Thunder Punch He-Man, which I think I'm gonna change at some point, Carlos. I think I'm gonna change that. I think I'm gonna move over to the lights, camera, action figures, or at some point I may keep the Thunder Punch He-Man at symbol. I don't know, but I'm at action figures on YouTube. And this what you see me doing right now with Carlos is what I want to do with individuals who collect, have you on, talk about a few things. Everyone from like the Pixel Dan interview last week, all the way down just to the casual collector. And then also, if you have a topic you want to talk about, you can always hit me up and let me know, and I can do a little research on it if I'm not familiar with it, and we can talk about it, discuss it. I'll do a little video, and I keep saying even if it's 10 minutes of just throwing a time out there. But that's what I'm doing, and the only reason why I didn't mean to cut you off from your interview, Carlos, but
No, no,
I thought
that's
about
fine.
that when you said about, your posting and all that. So, uh, on your times, but so not only do you do Instagram, and before I go any further, let me show people your Instagram page, if you don't mind, do you? I can
No,
show
go
that
ahead.
off real quick. All right. So right here, and I'll blow it up full scale here in a second, but you can find him at Charlie underscore 5.5. and it's got 1,267 posts. And you can see me right here. There I am, fat He Man. That's great, dude. What body is that from? Is that Andre?
That's
The
Typhoon. Typhoon
Typhoon.
from the
Yeah, I can
Superstars.
understand his upper body. Yeah. Okay. I didn't get that figure, so I didn't see. Let me blow this up full screen so people can actually
Oh,
get a
it's fantastic
Oh, it's
for the
great, isn't it?
husky characters.
Here you go. We got some fake. So you do a lot of custom stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're into that, man.
yeah.
That's
That's
so
my
cool.
main
And I'll make
hobby.
sure I put a link down below so you guys can go check out, Carlos's page. So you'll be able to go see that. Ah, I see that there. That's another story for another time right there. I'll leave
Oh
that
yeah, yeah. That was
for
something I
another.
came across and I thought people would find interesting.
Yeah, I will pull that for another day for sure. Because also, so people know, you and I are working on something down the road for some variations and different things
Yeah,
within the line. Uh, we really should have been on it a while back. And throughout the last 2 or 3 years, I've been posting like little tidbits on the Instagram with like what
mhm.
you can find and what's out there. So if you ever want to go, you can look at my Instagram. You have to go way back and you can find some stuff with variations. But Carlos and I are working on probably what, a 2-part, maybe 3-part video, something.
Oh, hey, man, they keep coming up from all
I know.
directions. You've been the eagle eye that you could catch these slight color variations. That you know,
Yeah.
until you
Well,
point them out. Sometimes even if I have them, I don't even notice them.
it's like, man, I can't. Yeah, it's definitely some of the stuff is blatant. Some of the stuff's difficult to find, but we'll get into that soon. But
Mhm.
let me segue over to your Facebook group for a second because
Okay,
you've got 15,000.
it's a 15. I think it's 14.
It's 14.9.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's
that's close.
15,000 people. Uh, you know, so it's Motu Origins, WWE Masters, Superstars, and TOG fans, which is Turtles of Grayskull. I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've
And
a couple more lines, and it's it's just
yes, well, you're missing cartoon collection on there. You gotta have to
yeah.
update your site here, brother. You have to get on that page. But I
It's
was,
just
I
the
joined it.
name is
You
silly almost at this point.
it's well, not really. I mean, it gets the point across. I mean, and people know what they're coming to look at. And
Yeah,
I'll put a link to this as well down below. But you started this in November of 19,
yeah,
and I was
yeah.
looking. I've been a member since November of 19. Now, I was telling Dan like on He-Man.org, I mentioned the word stalker. It was lurker. So
Lurker.
yeah, lurker. I had that wrong. So once in a while, I'll come on. I don't post anything there. I don't mess with. I don't have a Facebook account. I have an account just for that.
Mhm.
When you open that, that page, I don't do Facebook. I don't go on Facebook. Maybe I need to. Maybe it's time to start. It's probably a little late for that, but you know, 14, 14.9 thousand. So how? Yeah, I mean, before even how, like, what made you start that? And then I know, 5.5, like you said, you found um, the stuff from Zolo World, then the Funko stuff. So you started getting into that. And I know that 2-pack, we got to bring that up. The 2-pack from Origins, the SDCC piece from 2019. I know that's a big thing for you.
Mhm.
And is that what was your drive? You saw this coming together?
Not so much because I
Really?
mean that was a catalyst of like, oh man, this something amazing is coming, and then I went to PowerCon in 2019, and they announced the WWE Masters line, and that
Mm,
line came out before Origins,
okay, right.
and then there was nobody really talking about the WWE Masters line. Everybody was talking about Origins, but we were still like a year away. The only figures we had were the
Yeah.
Prince Adam and He-Man
So
until
June or July of
2020.
2020 was the Walmart exclusive drop. Into June, stuff started coming out, but like that's so yeah, you're right. So that fall of
That
19,
fall.
early spring of 2020, we got the ring with the 2-pack with Cena and
Yeah.
Triple H, I believe. Right. Okay.
Walmart in their usual fashion, they released a few early in the fall. They didn't really get released in stores until like January. But there was
Mhm.
somebody in the group that saw it just come up. He worked at Walmart. He said, "Hey guys, they're up there." And like in the group, like a bunch of us got the first wave like months before, and that's kind of what helped the group grow because we were the only ones with the figures and doing
Right.
customs and do mashups and whatnot. But that's the line I wanted to discuss, and I didn't find anywhere to that was really doing. And I was hoping to find 20 or 30 people who had an interest in this line that wanted to talk about it. And after like the first week, there were like 300 people, and I'm like, oh, that's more than enough. And I changed the group setting to private. I had like
Right.
zero interest in even growing it. I was like, that's enough for me. And it just there's a good group of people, and I don't do it alone.
Right.
I started on my own, but then
You have some
a good buddy of
moderators, right? I
mine,
saw that.
Ken, came along, and then Brian, and now Berkey Allen. She's there, and she's amazing. She's got an amazing collection. She helps out a lot. So,
That's great,
so,
man.
so
Yeah, you always
yeah,
need
man.
you need support for, something of that size, especially when
Hmm.
it's private. Try and
Yeah,
keep it private, people coming and going.
yeah.
Uh, I remember when those figures first dropped. Do you remember for a minute, I remember seeing the first international cards in the store of
Mm.
wave 1 of that line.
I
Uh,
remember like the first He-Man that was on the dual language header that was selling for like $200. Somebody in
Ridiculous, man.
Germany had it,
You mean
and it
the one
was
that I bought?
auction. I think you were tempted, but I think you restrained yourself
I got a
because
few of them. I don't know.
yeah, no, you got some insider info that they told you. No, don't worry. There's going to be a ton of those cards.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
a
true too.
one-off. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So
you're correct. We found out that, but we still, and I'm getting off topic here, but we still paid. Well, I know
oh yeah,
you and I,
yeah.
yeah,
We
I,
were hunting this all over the globe
yeah,
for
I
the
was trying
Manny
to get
faces
this
we
stuff.
got from UK and
Yeah, of Amazon UK,
Amazon UK.
Amazon
Yeah,
Mexico. We were doing Mexico. We were buying stuff from all over the globe. I was
yeah,
having people send me stuff uh from wherever I could get it. Like it was just anything with a different card back from what I was getting. I was trying to just gather whatever. Didn't matter.
yeah. We got hard.
Um,
We get hit hard with the addiction early, because it's
yeah, yeah.
we're going on 4 years now, so it feels like we're like seniors in high school already, and people are
Yeah,
coming in, or the freshmen. And,
I don't know if I told Dan this. I might have said this in a video somewhere else. I don't think I told Dan. Dan and I were, going over his past and how he became Pixel Dan.
yeah.
But I don't think I mentioned it to him. When I couldn't get King Randor in
Mm,
Wave 10 in Origins. And now let me rephrase that too. I could have got King Randor, but
of
I had
course.
put my foot down at that point. I was like, I'm not paying any more. It's King Randor, man. This should be a regular figure in the wave, just like the regular figures that have been out before him. Their abundance everywhere. And for some reason, the hype was just so strong that if he sold out somewhere, people freaked out. That FOMO stuff sets in, and it's just like, and I get it, man. You got to have it, but I put my foot down. I was like, I'm not doing it,
Yeah.
and that really was a turning point for me. I I just said I'm done. Like that's it. Not done, but if I can't just go online and buy it, because I don't go to stores really. I don't go into the stores too much. But if I can't get it online, it's just I'm not gonna buy it. It's just
And
done.
and you're not alone in that sentiment. I've seen a lot of people who are going through the same thing. It's like I want to buy these figures, but they're making it so hard to find,
Yeah.
especially now with the Walmart exclusives and all that. I had a similar experience. One of the Snake Men, the Creations package got lost, and then when I called Creations, they didn't have any more. And you helped me out with it. You sent it to me. I was
Tango.
about to say like Fangor. I was
Yeah.
about to say, all right, I'm not gonna be able to complete the line because the same. I could go on eBay and buy it, but I was just kind of annoyed by it.
That was a Christmas present, man. I
Yeah.
said, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we help each other out. Everybody, I mean, actually, the community is really good. If you need
Oh
help,
yeah.
somebody will help you. Now,
Hmm.
as long as they know you're not trying to get it from them and turn around but I get rid of like I have so much stuff. Like I get aggravated when I can't complete stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Now, eh, you know, I have some other things in the works down the road that I want to work with someone on. So I want to make sure I have everything, but
Hmm.
I'm just not in the mode. Again, apologize for taking away from your time
No
here, but it's
worries.
just
No,
because
no, I love talking this stuff.
yeah,
So
there's so much stuff involved in
yeah,
this. It's just I'm at the point where it's like if I can't get it regularly, like it's if it's not available, I'm not going to go online and pay triple the price. You know,
I
I'm
think
just
when
not going
it's
to do
all
it.
said and done, it's gonna be just a handful of collectors who are gonna have a complete run.
Well, I'll have a
Yeah,
complete run.
either carded or loose. Carded's gonna be. trickier, but it's going to be just a handful of people, I think, because
Yeah. Well, when you say
it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge to collect.
so you're saying you carded, you mean like everything fan favorite, everything different logos. You mean just all like all countries? Or are you saying just the US?
Oh man,
Because I
all
can't.
countries. It's just
I'm out of that game.
adding to the torture. No, I think just one representation of each figure carded.
Yeah,
It's going to be a handful of people.
I was talking to you, like you and I were going back and forth, like how to get the, you know, the Latin America, South American, cards. And
Yeah.
I had Kenner Vader trying to help me out with stuff. I had people in South America trying to help me with stuff. And I was trying to get some of these figures, and I had to resort to a couple of places I did not want to go. And I paid like $100 a whop for some of these figures that I
Yep.
have on different cards, on bilingual cards. And people and most people don't even know that they look at it and say, "Oh, it's the same figure." If you don't really know, if you're not paying attention, you know, uh, anyway, that's for I'm getting off track. That's for
Yeah,
another thing.
you're
I just
cutting into
enjoy
the
talking
other
about it.
video.
Yeah, we can do that some other time, but the Facebook group is fantastic. If you guys get a chance, go look at it. If you like talking about this stuff like we do, that Facebook group is right up your alley. I'll post a link down below so you can go right to it, check it out. Uh, so the name I mentioned, I read off. Okay. And that is the name of the Facebook group, y'all. It's Motu Origins, WWE Masters, Superstars, and TOG fans. So if, and it's a private group, so make sure you'll see it. You'll know it's private. It's 14.9 thousand followers. So I have to ask this, man. How many times have you changed the name?
I
Because
think this is the third name. I think I only edited for when the Stars line came out, and then I just added the TOG at the end, just because Turtles of Grayskull would have just you get winded just trying to read it off.
yeah,
You know,
are you gonna put the
cartoon.
yeah,
Nah,
you're not gonna
nah.
do it? Because you have
It's enough, long enough.
I'll
Because
show
people
people
could
real
post about
quick.
cartoon line.
I'll
It's
show
fine. But
people here the page here. Pull it up. So I'll go ahead and go full screen. But you can see he has, and I'm assuming I know this is your picture, right?
oh yeah, yeah. I try to
Yeah.
the covers. I try not to use like stock images or something. Just figures I have.
Yeah, this is the place to be though. I mean, everybody's, talking about stuff, man. Everything Motu related, origins. You got customs in here. I mean, people, well, not custom,
Lots
but
of
people.
customs. Lots of the wrestling stuff is really good. There's some really talented wrestling customizers. Um,
Yeah, this is
I don't
definitely
want to name
awesome.
them off because I'm gonna forget a few, but um,
There you go.
some really talented folk in there.
That was a good one right there, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That guy's on fire. He did Demolition the other days. He did the Steiners. He's
Is that
really
the one
into
with the
tag
lights in the
teams.
case I saw?
What's that?
Was that the one with the lights in the case? Like you got
Yeah. Yeah.
flashing
Yeah.
lights? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's
That guy.
fantastic, man. That's really good stuff.
He does nice
Yeah, so
stuff.
be sure to go check this page out. As again, you can see here, it's got 14.9 thousand members, which is that's a huge community. A lot of active members. People are active on there. So go check it out. And you know, man, how do you keep up with that? I mean, with you're about to hit 15,000. If Instagram time permitting at 3.5 thousand, how do you handle 15? I know you have a lot of help. You have like what, four moderators, three or four
It's
moderators.
three other
Yeah.
admins. There's no moderators yet. But-
Well, I mean,
Just
that's,
me. Yeah.
so
The Facebook, it's now it sails on its own. In the beginning, you kind of want to keep creating content. So like at first, I felt like a lot of pressure to like, okay, I got to make a custom or I got to post about something or because
mhm,
there was very limited product out and very few people had it in hand. But now it kind of sails on its own. My Instagram is probably gone pretty slow lately because it's you know my son's gotten into basketball, so his my
yeah,
time's kind of limited on customs. I have a bunch of heads I bought at the last solo con from these customs that I haven't even gotten to. But
right.
now it's just whenever I have time, I still love to do it. It's just time is limited these days.
Well, speaking of some of your customs, let's Can you have a few we could look at? I mean, like,
Oh
you
yeah,
show
yeah,
a few?
yeah. I pulled a
And
few.
how long have you
Mhm.
been doing customs? Like, give me the sequence. I know the sequence, but for everybody, the how you came about on those.
Well, the customs was I was seeing what everybody else was doing, and because this is early on when 5.5 was kind of having its renaissance again, and I was seeing what people were doing, and I was like, man, I would really like to try that. I never taken a painting class or anything like that, but
Right,
a friend of mine who does paint, she said, man, there's it's art. There's no wrong way to do it. Just throw some paint on, and if you like it, that's all that matters. Is if you enjoy it, it creates a reaction.
right.
That's all art is. So
You know, that's funny. You actually told me that. So that's where you got that piece of advice from. 'Cause you
yeah,
told
yeah.
me the same thing. I was like, I dabbled a couple of times, I made,
Hot
the
Wheels and yeah.
yeah, well, I've done that in the past, but my hands just can't cooperate, it's harder to do that smaller stuff, but I tried a couple of figures. I'll tell you, for everyone out there, especially these guys who are doing castings, like, full on,
Hmm.
like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, show us some of your stuff if you don't mind. Share something
yeah.
with us.
I'm just here real quick, so you can
Yeah.
get a better view of the figures. So one of the this was the very first one I did. Old Remco
Let me pull you
figure
up.
that Zola World was going to do this colorway, and I was like, I don't want to wait for the figure to come out. So this was the very first custom I did. It's very
Okay.
crude and whatnot, but
But they end up making that.
oh yeah, yeah, they ended up making that colorway and red, white, and blue. Very
That's
cool. And
awesome, man.
then the one line I really cut my teeth in and painting was with the Funko line. So this was the Batman, which is the one I used the most for customs, and I kind of applied that there for what they were doing is like take a character and put them in
That's
a
awesome.
savage barbarian setting. So
Right.
Captain America is one of my favorites, and
I
and
love that.
Cap, yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's one of my
great, man.
favorites too. And U.S. Agent. And this was back in the day when, like you said, my hands were steadier. Those stars are, freehand, and
D
but
think about
now,
this. You know how
yeah,
many companies would have used that same buck to redo this same stuff? That was a missed well, they had some QC issues as well,
yeah,
and, that's a shame because look what you have right there. I mean, how
and
that
they had Funko had plans for to continue. They had like the designer Reese O'Brien. He had a bunch of future IPs that he had already done designs for, but the line was cut short. So
mm.
I did this guy Kratos,
Oh, that's from the,
several worlds, God
War
of
not
War.
War, God of War, yeah,
Yeah,
that's great, man. Check
and
that
this
out.
one's yeah, this one here is like Godzilla I did put
That's
together.
epic, man.
So these require more paint.
Is that from the Street Fighter, Blanca?
Yeah, the Blanca figure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for the
great, dude.
Godzilla head.
That's great.
This
I've
was
never
one of my
seen these. How come I haven't seen these? What's going on, man?
because these were old. These were like this is years ago. Like the
That looks
Funko line
great,
was.
dude.
This was one of my favorites because this is my son couldn't care less about 5.5, but when I did this, the Batman Beyond, he
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, that looks cool." So I thought that this one kind of holds a special spot for me because it's like
that's
the first
awesome.
time that he said I did something cool
The first time
with the
you were on the
5.5
tour.
anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So so that was the early days of customizing, a lot of painting and a lot of learning as you go, prepping the surface, what paints work better, and all
Well,
that. A lot of trial and
speaking of it,
error.
I
What's
got I
that?
got a little something I got a little something here from your custom days. So check this out. I've got you sent me this like 2020 because Wondar, obviously everybody now we have Wondar now, so I didn't have to Wonder Bread Savage He-Man for those who need to hear it that way, I guess. But we didn't have that at the time. Carlos is for some reason in love with that figure, which he's big time. And I was like, well, I like to have one. So he hooked me up. Now it has a different head now and a sword, obviously,
All right.
because we do have the figure. But you sent me this early. 2020 now, not with the head, not with the sword.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's the warrior. But you did a good job, man. I don't know if I can get it to come on the camera
yeah,
there. This is way back. I mean, this is when we first started receiving Origins. Walmart was the
yeah,
uh exclusive at the time on that. So I appreciate, I mean, I put the warrior head on it because now I don't need to have the He-Man head on it because we have the figure. And
mm,
I threw Sword of Omens in there, of course. I believe that's from the Funko line, pretty
yeah,
sure. But
yeah. This one cool.
it's great, man. It's great.
So yeah, when Origins came along with their the part swapping and it just made customizing so much easier for everybody because now you don't have to paint as many parts. You could just swap parts. You could take things apart. You could break them down maybe even a little further than what they're intended to. You could take off additional, at the elbows, at the knees. It's like the early ones that didn't require as much paint. This is Ultimate Warrior is a fake warrior. This one's a buddy of mine, Jason Wolf, came up with that idea.
Okay. Yes, I
Ran
was
with that.
my bad. It broke up on me there. I'm sorry. What I was saying, so you don't have to paint as much
No, not
because you have
anymore.
yeah, because you have so many figures now with parts. You can, like you said, pull them apart at the knees. You can warm them up and pop off certain joints now. You can swap.
Exactly, exactly.
Right.
The crotch pieces and all that, you can just interchange and makes it
Mhm.
easier. This is my disco
Oh,
skelly.
yeah. That's great.
So
Let me
man, that
pull that
that
up.
requires a little paint. But then the thing about Origins is it becomes more about what parts you have access to. So you could
Show
pretty
that show
much
that
make
hey,
any.
show that to the camera there, Carlos, that disco. Yeah, that looks good, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and
I'm
that warrior is nice too. That with Faker warrior.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope.
Then then for me, it's become more about what parts I can find. This is I
And real
showed
quick,
earlier
so you
my favorites, my
okay,
Husky
good. Yeah, yeah.
He-Man and
Yeah, that's me.
Husky Skeletor.
That's so cool, man. That's
Yeah.
freaking bad,
Because then
dude.
you're not limited to just the origins parts. You have, the superstars line, the wrestling line. You have the now the turtles and all that. So there's a lot of things you could pull from to make
Wow.
whatever you
Pizza
want.
freaks me. It's great, dude. When I made my own, well, I partly, the, Faker, and I had Ken Vader had to repaint my head for me because I had a head that I had bought that was custom. It got crushed in the mail. I don't know if you remember that
Okay.
or not,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
he did some cool stuff with that. But I had to buy the sticker off of eBay, like the vintage remake sticker, so I could put it on
Okay.
the chest because we didn't have the figure yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where I could just
Oh,
pull the torso and just pop it on,
that
so
happened
I had
so
and
many times where people were making
yeah,
customs of figures that came later on, like painting a He-Man all black for
right,
Anti-Eternia
exactly.
later
Yeah.
got released.
What you got there? I saw some Rocky going on. What's going on, man?
Yeah, so if you have the right parts, you can make characters like a Rocky.
Mm,
Stand still. You can make a Bruce Lee here.
that's sweet, dude.
Disney's Hercules.
That's so cool, man.
It's become more of developing an eye for what will scale, and then the skin tones. That's the advantage of collecting the wrestling's line because there you have a variety of skin tones more than in Origins. In Origins, you're kind of limited to the He-Man kind of
Yeah, like the
oranges.
light tannish yellowish color.
Yeah,
Yeah, got you. You get more flesh tones with the wrestlers than you
exactly.
do, right?
A lot more. And
Yeah.
let's see, so I'm finishing up here. This
And
is
this is just a portion of what he does, man. That I now see, I
the Horde
love that.
Apprentice Mumra.
Now when you're gonna bring that when you come, right? I'm get and that one.
Prince Lionel
Dude,
there.
that head is from the Bandai 7-inch. That's from
Yep.
the 7-inch. Yeah.
And the
That's
thing is, most because the proportions of 5.5 they're so chunky. 7-inch figures are what work best. Like if you try Marvel Legends 6-inch, they don't scale very well because they tend to be small. So
man, that is great. Make sure hey, put them in the book bag when you when you when you come, man.
and then this one's coming back full circle. I bought the Funko one that I love so much to the Origins line.
That was the, Target exclusive one, right?
Yeah, the black
Right.
one.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
with a horde armor,
I like that. Yeah.
keeps his cape and sword. And then when
That's
I get lazy, I buy customs from really talented customizers. Like I bought their
Ooh.
pieces and painted them, but this one's Rebel 3D on Instagram, RBL 3D. He does
So,
great
the
stuff.
head came unpainted and you painted the
No,
head.
no, I bought unpainted stuff from him. I bought his ball tart and I painted it, but this one, that's why it looks so nice because he painted that one.
Alright.
That's like his Alcala style. That I love that head.
That's sweet, man.
And then this is from Mega Customs X with an X in it. And again,
Yeah.
I bought like a bearded He-Man from him, but this one he painted. And this one's from another buddy of mine. He customs on Instagram. He did the
Wow.
Remco Conan.
Yeah,
So
that's so cool, man.
yeah, I love
See, that's what I'm saying. This guy, make sure you follow him on Instagram because he's into this custom stuff. He's also
oh,
that
this is my last
page. Look at this.
Slain. So
Now, tell the
yeah,
people where you get some of these heads from, because you have to purchase sometimes outside of Origins, obviously, to get some of these pieces. The heads, I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
and
like
the
I said,
gloves and
7-inch figures are your best bet. A lot of Diamond Select, and you don't want to spend too much money on the expensive stuff. Like the Slain figure, I found, buy them loose. Don't buy anything carded. 7-inch Diamond Select. A lot of the Super 7 heads scale really good with Origins. The Classics heads scale great with Origins. And now with 3D printing, a lot of 3D printers, you could find heads that have been sculpted, and you could use that for your customs. I bought a few and painted a few, and so
okay,
that's another option. But sometimes the 3D, I mean, some of them are kind of pricey, so it depends. Shop around and find what's in your budget and what what character you want to put together. But really, it's you're only limited by you know by what you could find because you could pretty much create any character uh, with these
gotcha.
figures. Yeah. So
Well,
that's pretty much the customs.
looking at your customs, I mean, I'm looking at a few things right here up on the screen on top of what you just showed, and you've got some really nice stuff, man.
Oh,
Great
thank you.
work on those customs, dude.
Thank
Uh,
you, sir. Thank
and as great as those are, as great
you.
as those are, I would like to just move over to some more greatness because you
Yeah.
have, and we're only going to show a few pieces here, but you have some really great pieces in your collection, uh, and I'd like to show those off. Mainly from Origins. There's a few pieces from the wrestling line,
Yeah.
and like I said, this is only a little bit of what he has. But I'm gonna blow you back up here and let you take the floor and save those packs for last because I love those packs. So if you don't
All right.
mind, but
Yeah,
I'll go ahead
that'll
and
be
blow you
last.
up there. All right,
There was a long wait between getting something new, so that's how I fell into this rabbit hole. This was the first figure I chased down was the Superstars Warrior figure,
that's great, man.
and got old Sarge. This, I think it's the only Sarge figure I've seen. And then this one I had to get both versions from the WWE Masters, and my latest pickup was this for the
Oh,
Superstars, Mr.
look
T.
at that, man. That's nice.
Mr. T's dope. Ah, don't go with T.
Don't break it, man.
Yeah,
That's great. I'm digging the one in the camo. I ain't gonna lie. I mean,
yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
yeah. You can't go wrong with Mr. T.
Yeah, that's great. And all the the chains haven't been painted. It's just so cool,
Yeah, yeah. So moving on to the origins line. Here's a figure you're really familiar with. It's the light skin clan chin, right?
right?
So I was able to down a test shot of that figure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the
that's an
armor's
early
not painted,
production.
the belt's not painted, the boots
Yeah,
aren't done, and the head's
the
not
head,
done. Neither are the
the,
straps. Yeah. Or
yeah,
the
and even
the brace.
even the loin cloth is like a lighter shade. It's almost like
Now, he's
sandals.
still do you on the bottom, does he have any stamps on his feet?
No, this is
That's
early
okay. And is
back
but on
then.
the back it says the buck is stamped the 2020 on
Oh
the
yeah,
back behind the armor.
the torso
Right.
is from the
Yeah,
mold. So
from the mold. Okay. That's nice, dude. Now that's a big one right there. I mean, I
Hmm.
will say, early on, I showed a video the other day of an old gym from 2021 or so when I've had some footage when I filmed that clamp champ. You remember I had one of the probably the best carded ones
Oh
examples.
yeah, that from the Canada a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and at the time I said there was probably only a handful, which at the time there was only about what 10 that we knew of, maybe
If
if
that,
that,
yeah, if
if
that.
that. And of course
Yeah.
now, they're coming in batches. It's like somebody held on to what they were supposed to destroy. You see them all crushed and all, so they're
Hmm.
not as elusive or as uh what's I don't want they're just not as hard to get as they were. But that piece there on your left, that test piece, that I've only seen one other head. I think it was a yellow
Yeah,
one. Yellow, yeah,
yeah,
yellow I think I've
yeah. I
seen,
saw that one. Hmm.
and maybe a white one. I can't remember, but there's only 2 or
Yeah,
3 of that where the body's not painted.
yeah,
The
yeah. I've
accent
only seen the yellow.
pieces.
Mhm.
Right. That's very nice.
And I've
Congratulations.
seen like the head, but the head, I haven't seen like the whole like the cuffs on painted and the different loincloth because it's like you could assume that it's trap jaw, but this is not going to be a pretty view. But when you look at the ball joint, it's in
It's color,
his
skin color. Yeah.
it's in the his color, so it
It's
was
his.
made for him. Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, it's one of those situations where it's like you wonder like what happened there. Like I don't know if you've seen like G.I. Joe Classified Stalker just announced, and like his beret is camoed, and the original toy was not camoed, I think, and
Mhm.
it was in the art that was camo. So I think that's what might have happened because when you look at the art matches this figure,
It
the
does. He's
colors,
light skinned, right.
and when you look at the
Because that
mini
was their
comic.
first one. That's what they were going with.
Yeah, so it might have been, bad communication there
Don't
with the
do it,
factory
Carlos.
because
Don't show it. Don't do it. Oh,
it's the mini comics color. So
I knew you were
yeah, I think
coming with
that
that, man.
yeah.
So for those who
So
don't know, in the mini comics, he is a lighter skin. So Carlos and I have had this debate for a long time. Was that the intentions of releasing that figure? Was that going to be like the mini comic? Did somebody go off of that when they made the figure?
yeah,
And
I,
of course, the controversy behind I think he's the only black character in the first run of Motu. He never even made it in the Filmation cartoon.
no,
So to not
I'm
do him right would be, in my opinion, would be wrong. So I think,
strange.
yeah, they have to make it correct from based off the toy, in my
Yeah,
opinion. And they did correct that and do that. So and that's, putting
and here's
opinion
another one that's
politics aside.
one of the harder figures to get is nowadays is the Art of Engineering Skeletor. So you see the test shot, it's like a different type of. I don't know if it's picking it up well, but see the
Yeah,
clear
absolutely.
plastic is different. It's a more yellowish, kind of almost dirtier looking.
Yeah, when I first got mine, 'cause I ordered 2. When I got mine, I posted on Instagram, a chance of, cloudy with a chance of rain, something, 'cause, they showed it off as being crystal clear the whole way through,
Yeah,
and when I got mine, they were not crystal clear, they were smoky almost, like, I mean, all of them are like that, but you can definitely see on camera, I can tell the difference between the left and the right.
yeah. This this one's an interesting piece. And then here, this is a Ninjor. What's interesting about this
That's
one is
nice.
it it looks like when they're preparing the figure, they're like get the instructions like, all right, this is gonna be a Skeletor body, and you're gonna paint it
Mhm.
here. You could see where they like measured, and it's like a straight line. The head's not even cast in black. It's cast in like a clear plastic,
That's nice.
but it's painted, and you see his stand. This so
Yeah, it's not black,
I
yeah.
like this one a lot because it's part of the actual production where somebody was testing out, measuring, where it's going to be painted, what goes where, what parts
That's
they're going to
crazy,
use.
man.
Yeah, I find that one really interesting. This is the one that started the whole line, pretty much. The SDCC Prince
I would
Adam.
love to own that. That's great.
It's got this one came with the boot knife.
That's interesting too because, they did the LOP Man at Arms with the boot knife. And
Oh yeah.
if you ever see Mark Taylor's drawings, the He-Man had a boot knife in the drawing, I believe, of the, not the not was it Thorak? Thorak? I can't remember the name of the drawing that they took when Roger Sweeten went and made the figures, but later his detailed down drawings when they right before they ditched the helmet and all, I think he had a knife in his boot,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it
A
never, of
planet art.
course, it didn't. Yeah, well, no, I'm talking about He-Man. I'm talking about He-Man's
Oh,
drawing.
He-Man, He-Man, He-Man.
Yeah, from Mark Taylor. But yeah, that's a
Yeah, I
great
mean, for like, I imagine they don't want something this small for if they're gonna intend it for kids,
right.
choking hazard. This
Have
one's
you
the.
matched that up to the LOP Man at Arms? I'm sorry, go, no, go ahead, go. This is a
What do
great
you
one.
mean the? What do you
Have you
mean
matched that
match?
boot up? Is that the same boot cut?
It's the same boot. Yeah, they use
Okay.
the same knife, the same boot. It's just a
Okay.
cat's in a different color.
Okay.
This one because it's gray because it's Man at Arms was orange.
Or
So
yeah,
this
it's
one
not done.
is
Yeah.
yeah. This one was just painted up in I think yellow was the handle.
Cool.
And this guy,
This one here, man.
Skidor.
Is it functional?
No, it doesn't have. You know that they did the one.
The
The
holes.
one hole video. This one has no holes. It has the liquid in there, but and it has the mechanism, but no air, so it's not functional. But I like the colorway and
Yeah, that's
it's an
beautiful. Make
interesting
sure,
piece.
hey, book bag.
All right.
When you come to
Yeah.
town, that goes in a book bag.
I'm convinced that they because they released this character so early in the line. I'm convinced they did that to just please Dan because
You think so? So I wanted to
this
bring that up with Dan. We didn't get a
because
chance
you
to,
see they reused nothing from him for
but
till like
well,
now
Terry,
the
yeah,
boots maybe.
now. But the thing is, you and I talked about this a few years ago. We were so shocked, and I'm sure as other people were, and Dan as well, that they made something that unique early in the line
Yeah,
that does not get reused. I mean, that chest now they can come
they
out
were
with a
used to
horde.
3 years later.
Yeah,
It
they can
just
come
makes
out
no
with a
sense.
horde army of like chest pumping blood, whatever. I'm sure at some point maybe they will reuse it. I would hope. But we were like, man, if they're showing this right now and the Ram Man Buck and all, I mean, that wave, that whole line, that in the beginning, they were like, man, they're gonna this is gonna go all the way. I mean, that's what we were
Hmm.
predicting. Like, if they're gonna do this now, I think they were
Yeah,
showing. Was it Ruben? Who was at the time there? Was I think Ruben was one of the
Ruben
guys.
Martinez was the
I was
first
like, man, he was
lead
showing stuff. I was
designer.
like, yeah, if they're really they want to do this. And I think they want to show the fans that this is what they want to do, and we're getting there now. We're almost at the end. Missing a few figures. I'm just waiting on these last few, man.
Yeah, they did a lot of heavy hitters early,
Yeah,
which was surprising. This is a Grizzlor. Mhm. Like the
look at
flock,
that.
because none of the fur was released in this color. It's like a lighter color, so I like that a lot.
That's
It's so
great.
unique. And then the color of the plastic, I imagine this is like leftover plastic from Beastman or something, just because of the color.
That's great, man. Let me see it. Can I see the back? Turn it around. Let me see the back of it. Okay. Yeah. That's cool, dude. Is that removable like the one they produced? The fur,
Oh
does that
yeah.
comes off?
Oh wait. Yeah, it comes off, and then the chest
Okay.
is brown, a dark brown. Yeah, but it's
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. Damn. Got some dope stuff, dude.
this is old Scare Glow. I've only seen another one. There's another collector who's a very hardcore collector of test shots.
Well, you know which
It's
one I'm looking for, and we won't say it right now, but there is one that
yeah,
I'm looking. Yeah, we'll get into that
that,
later.
that that has not surfaced anywhere.
Yeah, I'm looking
I've
for
been
this.
looking.
Well, I'm looking for it. I'm gonna get it
Yeah,
eventually. That's great, dude. Look at that.
yeah. I don't know if the plastic
The
was
cape is
changed a
different on
little.
that. It's shorter on that one.
Mm,
It
no,
looks
it's
like
about the
it's
same.
definitely shorter in the middle.
No, it's about the same.
You sure?
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the plastic is the only thing I'm not sure if they cleared up or darkened. They both glow in the dark. So
Okay, that one does glow. The test.
yeah, the test does
Okay.
glow.
Okay.
All right,
All
so
right.
those
Yeah,
are the
let's get
loose
into these.
figures.
Let's get into these. I know what you're going for, man. Now, just real quick before you do, just this is a treat right here. This, I mean, obviously, all of it's beautiful. And remember, guys, and ladies, gentlemen, everybody, this is only a portion of what he has, and we really appreciate you doing this and showing this to the fans because not a lot of
Yeah.
people want to show this stuff off, and I
No,
appreciate
that's
you,
yeah. That,
doing
well,
this.
that's what I've noticed when I started collecting test shots. That I'd get messages from people with amazing pieces, and they show it nowhere. They keep it to themselves, and they're very private about it.
Hmm.
And everybody has their own reasons. I understand. Some people have told me, hey, that because then people take the picture and try to scam other people and say, hey, I'm selling this piece or whatnot. And
Right.
they're like,
Yeah, that's a good
I don't,
point, though.
I don't want to put up with it.
Well,
Or
we're getting to
here,
see it here tonight on Lights, Camera, Action Figures. So let's go. Oh my gosh,
this is
check this out, man.
the Road Ripper. And,
Mechanic. It's the ground. It's not road. It's ground
oh,
now.
ground. Yeah,
Ground.
ground
Yeah,
Ripper.
you gotta come correct. But it's Road Ripper for sure. You're right. But that's
Yeah,
look at that.
yeah.
How cool is that, man?
That one's. I like that one a lot. And this one, oh, this one I actually like a lot. There's a few of them around, but this is the only one I've seen this colorway.
Wow,
Battle Cat.
that's so cool. Multiple colors. It just pops. I don't know. It just looks so good, man. You got the
Oh,
European box there.
is it? Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it is.
Man, good eye.
Yeah, that's great.
Then this one, I really haven't seen another piece.
Is this the green?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a green flocked panther. It's
and you could
green, like
you see if
moss
I could get in
man.
there.
Oh my
Yeah, maybe
god.
the instructions got lost. You could see the in the joint. This purple. The plastic is purple, but
What's a
maybe
it's a
someone
like
thought
a isn't it like a bright pink on the front elbow, the front, joint? Like a pinkish color in the joint?
no, it's like the purple, like it's like a lighter purple
It's
than
like a light, yeah, it's
the
a lighter
plastic
color.
release. Yeah,
It's
it's a
definitely
little
a
lighter.
test shot underneath of that flocking.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
you've
I don't
had
know if
this
some. Mhm.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But
Go
you've
ahead.
had this is before Moss Man dropped, way before Moss Man came out.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was before Mossman.
Yeah. This is when they were
Yeah,
actually testing the waters for the flock panther. Someone did it in green, and
yeah,
it's crazy. And it's a test underneath of it, so it's just cool, man.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if they got the instructions wrong. I thought this was gonna be a, they were supposed to flock for battle cat colors or what. But and
Well,
then this is the last box one I have on hand anyway.
ooh-wee.
CL, the duplicate and
Duplicate, yeah,
Faker.
the Leo
And the thing
fake,
about
that's
this Faker, this is not really the Leo Faker. This is another
that's
Faker that has the vintage head with the new hairpiece.
so it's
And they,
so
yeah,
wait a minute, so it's the vintage with the 2020 hairpiece.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And I don't know if you remember Dan's video from New York Toy Fair. I think it was 2020 when they showed off the Sky Sled.
I do.
The He-Man they had there had that combination, had the vintage head
Right,
with the hairpiece.
hair, right.
So I guess a few of them got. I don't know if it was something they actually thought of doing or it was just some sort of error, but yeah. So that's test
Oh,
shots. That's the
oh, I'm
what
over
I
here
got.
blushing, man. I'm so jealous and proud at the same time.
It's fun. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend the collecting test shots to anyone.
Why?
It's
I used
it,
to. I mean, I've shown you some pieces. I used to collect classics, test shots, and
yeah,
it got quite pricey for a little
yeah.
while. I
It
had a few
does. It
hero
does.
pieces. I had some Prince Adam stuff. I had Zodak, Merman, Skeletor, Hordak. I had a lot of test shots.
Yeah,
A lot of them in all white. A lot of them done just test shot A, B without they'd be all cast in their colors. It just wouldn't have anything painted.
yeah.
So I've dabbled in that. So I know where you're going with that. It can be very dangerous depending on
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
If it's you want a specific character or something, I recommend it, but it's a dangerous rabbit hole.
Well, that's I don't know. Here's the thing with those 2. You don't know how many have been turned out. Like, you think,
Mhm.
"Okay, I got this. There's only 1 or 2," when there could be 30 of those sitting around. Every person at Mattel's got one, and somebody mailed one to so and so, and the
Mhm.
factory had an extra bin of them, and you just don't know the numbers that are out there for value wise. I mean, it's valuable, but you just don't know when you pay for something that you want, how many more are going to come along. Like you said, that slaughter,
Mhm.
that's the only one you've seen of him. And
But there could
you,
be 100 sitting
well,
somewhere in a box
well,
somewhere. Yeah.
here's the thing: at the time that came along, you could have said to yourself, "You know what? I'm gonna pass right now. I'm not gonna pay that. I know he's gonna, it's a slaughter figure. There'll be a ton of them. But if you'd have done that, that's the only one you've seen,
Hmm.
and
Well, like
who
light skin clam champ. That's exactly what happened. At first, we didn't know. You didn't
correct.
even know if it was gonna be that was gonna be the production run. We
That's what
didn't
I
know what
said to
color it
Leo.
was.
I
Yeah.
took a gamble. I told you I was
Hmm.
buying those in December of 2020 because I was like, "Hey," I told you, I said, "Carlos, I've got these. I got a few of them coming." I and you were like, "Well, what'd you pay per piece?" And it's like, you don't know if that's gonna be the regular run. Like, bro,
Yeah.
they're gonna pop up in the store like that, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, why did I do this?" So I was going off of what I was told, like, "Hey, these aren't getting released." Now I wasn't told that he was. I was just said I was told he wasn't getting released. I don't recall anything about the wrong color or. And I was like, man, they're still showing. If you remember, there was a the promo shot of him in one
Hmm.
of them, real bright promo shot
Yeah.
had a light skin in there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I remember that.
that's gone now. I can't find that anywhere. I mean, for a
That
while,
that's one of the reasons. I'll look that up for you. I have one somewhere, but that's one of the reasons we had the doubt if it was gonna be that's gonna be
yeah, because
the
you were like,
release.
man, dude, that's gonna be the regular release. You just paid whatever for these, and you bought all these figures
Yeah.
for nothing. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's not what I was told. I'm like, I was told they're not coming out. You're like, no, they're still showing. They're for pre-order, man. Go look. And it was like that was the image. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
So
that was a good gamble though. You made the right bet there.
yeah, it worked out. But
Worked out.
yeah, man, I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed chatting. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for showing those off. That's a privilege to get to see those things.
Oh, it's a
Uh,
privilege to be on here, man. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. You
Thanks
know
for
that.
having me on. Yeah.
Yeah, man. The customs are beautiful. Your accounts are great.
Thank you.
Your Facebook group is awesome. Everybody go check these out. I'm gonna put the links below. Make sure you go give him a follow on his Instagram, excuse me, and on his Facebook page. Again, thank you for showing those things. Um, man, you and I'll be back again. We'll do a shorter video of just a few pieces that have some variations on them, and then we'll do some more talking. Obviously, just get off track and get into it because we enjoy this so much. So for everyone who tuned in, I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, like the video if you can, spread it around, show some love, and appreciate you coming along for the journey and checking us out. And Carlos, thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, brother. And
All right.
y'all stay tuned. We'll talk soon. Later.